Welcome to Enginuity. In this episode, crash tests for hybrids produce interesting results. Red Bull F1 makes a home run in England. Testing electrics at the Nurburgring track. And taking the old Silver Arrow for a spin. But first, Japanese robotics maker TMS UK has made a splashy debut at the 2011 Tokyo Motor Show with 3 Transformer-inspired electronic vehicle designs from its debut Cobot series. The joint venture between TMS UK and electro-optical company Kowa seeks to integrate smartphones, green technology and playfulness into its designs. The biennial auto show showcases the usual array of green cars, such as electric vehicles and fuel cell cars, and top Japanese companies. The Cobot's 3 designs are one-seater's Cobot V, Cobot U Plus 03B2, and the 2-seater Cobot U Plus 03CO, respectively nicknamed Chili, Soybean and Pumpkin by their design team. While they may look like backyard toys, they can reach maximum speeds of up to 80 kilometers an hour.
Instead of a key, the driver can use a smartphone to get in and out of the car and to operate the vehicle. As it was important to us to keep in mind the ecological aspect, it's completely electric.
To transform the vehicle into compact storage mode requires no physical exertion, simply a push to the smartphone control which sends a message to the vehicle to fold in the rear wheel and seat. The incorporation of a smartphone application in order to operate the car is expected to attract the attention of the increasing number of smartphone users both in Japan and overseas. The cars have a number of stylish features, including integrated social media functions and a navigation system which can connect to the owner's smartphone system.
In the beginning, we definitely designed this car with the typical housewife in mind, thinking of it as a second car for the household. And of course for the elderly as well. They need a safe vehicle to use for shopping and trips to the doctor's office.
The largest of the 3, 2-passenger 4-wheeler Pumpkin, is the speediest with a maximum speed of 80 kilometers an hour. It has no shrinking capabilities, but the driver's side seat can be flipped around to face the back and help the driver navigate when parking.
I believe that car companies take their car plans and develop the rest around that. However, we were able, without restriction, to take an empty space and think about where to put the battery, the engine and how to design our vehicle, which allowed us to design a different kind of car.
Other cars competing in the EV market include Daihatsu's Pico, a snug 2-seater with exterior LED panel regularly emitting traffic and safety messages, and the FC Showcase, which resembles an Apple notebook on wheels with its sleek lines and simple box design. Other Japanese and non-Japanese brands at the motor show also included a strong showing of green cars to add to this year's eco-friendly fleet of automobiles. By entering the automobile industry from a robotics angle, TMS UK has found itself approaching design from a different viewpoint than typical automobile companies. This car, with its odd paint job, is more than your typical rental. It's actually part of a bold experiment in public transportation going on now in Paris. The car, powered by an electric motor, can be rented by the hour from kiosks that dot the French capital. The idea is to give Parisians bent on driving an eco-friendly and cheap way to get around the city. The program, called Autolib, already has its fans.
I used to have a car, a small Smart, which I sold off because it's getting too complicated in Paris now. So I use public transport, and for me this is an excellent complement, especially when I have to go shopping and get some bulky stuff.
The concept of pay-as-you-drive cars comes amid a growing trend to share transport. That's something advocates say will save drivers from spending thousands on a car while still giving them the freedom to hit the open road.
Overtaking has been quite a challenge in Formula One for a number of years, and the reason is that we've developed these cars which generate a huge amount of aerodynamic downforce that pushes the tyres down in the corners.
Also this year, they've put in an adjustable rear wing into our cars, which by the push of the button, I can drop the rear wing, and this allows me to go 20 kilometers an hour faster on the straights. This in turn should help us be able to overtake more easily in Formula One and make the racing more exciting. But nevertheless, overtaking still remains a really tricky affair.
The problem is we need clean air. We need clean air to generate the maximum force. And when you're following another car, you get dirty air. The dirty air off that car disturbs your car and you lose performance. So it doesn't come off the corner quickly enough. Now what we're doing in 2011 is two things. One is we've got KERS, which is the energy recovery system, and that gives a bit of extra acceleration on the straight. But more importantly, we've got this new rear wing concept, where the driver who's following, when he gets on the straight, can flick a switch and the wing changes its position, and it loses a lot of drag, and that means he can have a better go at trying to attack the car in front.
Next on Enginuity, hybrid crash tests. Hybrids have a safety edge over their conventional twins when it comes to shielding their occupants from injuries in crashes. New research shows on average the odds of being injured in a crash are 25% lower for people in hybrids than people traveling in non-hybrid models.
This new research from the Highway Loss Data Institute takes a look at the disparity in crash protection between lighter and heavier vehicles. We compared the injury rates of hybrid vehicles to their very similar but lighter non-hybrid counterparts. And in doing this, it enabled us to evaluate the effects of weight on safety. Hybrids have batteries that the non-hybrid versions of the same vehicle don't have, and as a consequence, hybrid vehicles on average are about 10% heavier, and that additional weight gives them a real advantage in crashes. On average, your odds of being injured in a hybrid vehicle are about 25% lower than if you were in the non-hybrid version of the same vehicle. When a lighter vehicle collides with a heavier vehicle, the lighter vehicle is moved backwards. As a consequence, the occupants of the lighter vehicle are subjected to higher crash forces than the occupants of the heavier vehicle. In the 1970s and the 1980s, auto manufacturers improved fuel economy by reducing vehicle weight, and that had a safety disadvantage. Hybrids reduce some of that safety disadvantage by putting weight back into the vehicle while at the same time improving fuel economy. The study shows that consumers don't have to choose between fuel economy and safety. Going green doesn't have to mean skimping on crash protection.
100 years ago, the automobile business was just beginning to take off. As Americans were seeing the advantages of a horseless carriage, entrepreneurs were literally building companies in their garages. Dozens of brands like Studebaker, Hudson, Packard and Pierce Arrow were all successful in the early 1900s. Chevrolet was founded at that time by race car driver Louis Chevrolet and General Motors founder William Durant.
In 1911, Louis Chevrolet and William Durant got together and brought Louis' passion for driving and racing and the energy of a car business with Mr. Durant's money and know-how and business acumen. And between the two of them, they created a force that can't be stopped.
Building great cars at this time was not enough to ensure success, however, and brand survival was dependent on the dealers who sold the vehicles. Like Fairman Motors in Tampa, Florida, one of the oldest in the country. An original Oldsmobile and Cadillac dealer, the Fairmans have also been selling Chevys for over 90 years and take an old-fashioned approach to doing business.
You got to be careful and respectful of your clients or they won't bring you business. You got to be careful and respectful with your employees or they won't take good care of your clients. So for over 100 years, this company has strongly embraced that you've got to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Sounds like a recipe for another 100 years of success. Next, an electric circuit.
We're here today at the Nordschleife, the Nurburgring Nordschleife. We're here with our TMG electric vehicle. Our intention is to break the lap record for electric vehicles around the 20.8 Nurburgring Nordschleife circuit, and we're very confident to do this. We're very lucky at TMG. We have some very supportive, some very trusting and loyal partners. We have Enginuity Design, who've worked with us and for us for several years on various different projects. They designed the complete livery of this car. I think it looks fantastic. Includes also the TMG logo, which was also an Enginuity project that we worked together with. Rational Motion are very well known to us. They work very closely with us, particularly in the area of electric vehicles and electric development. They work on the integration of some of the powertrain aspects. Also, Evo Electric have worked with us for some time developing the electric motors for these cars, and we are a partner of theirs in terms of the technology that they can bring to the project. So all in all, we're very grateful, very pleased that we have this trust from these partners, and we're very hopeful that we can deliver the result that they want. It's been a fantastic day. We've really overachieved, achieved more than we expected to do. We targeted to go under 8 minutes. We've actually gone significantly under 8 minutes. We've beaten the previous lap record very considerably. This is a testament to the fact that the powertrain in the car, the TMG powertrain, is very, very durable, very powerful. The driver, of course, Joachim, has done a fantastic job. He was quick directly the first lap, very, very fast. The conditions, thankfully, here at the Nurburgring have been very nice. We've had good weather, very, very lucky in that side. Therefore, we've really hit our targets. We've done what we wanted to do, and we're really, really happy. Well, we came here to prove that the TMG electric powertrain has the potential to be involved in motorsport in the future, to be racing on tracks flat out and really deliver genuine competitive performance. And we hope that we can continue to prove that with this powertrain, but with future cars as well. In a perfect world, it would be fantastic if we could be involved in an electric championship, for example. I think this could be coming relatively soon. It's something that for TMG is very, very interesting. We think we have the technology which can support that. We genuinely believe it could be the future, and we'd be happy to be part of that future.
Next, the Silver Arrows. This is the Mercedes GP W02, a Formula One car, but not just any Formula One car. This is a Silver Arrow, part of a legendary tradition. They've thrilled fans for over 75 years, driven by heroes of their time, be it Juan Manuel Fangio or Stirling Moss, Michael Schumacher or Nico Rosberg. Only the best drive a Silver Arrow. Then, as now. Back in 1954 and 55, Juan Manuel Fangio and the W196 were unbeatable. They won 2 consecutive world championships. Drum brakes, 2.5-litre normally aspirated engine, water cooling, top speed 280 kilometers per hour.
It is incredible to see the skill that those drivers had to drive those cars on the limit on racetracks like these, or Monte Carlo, or wherever. But to compare it to nowadays, it's obviously very different, but certainly no less fun.
How does the W196 feel? What's it like to drive? Nico Rosberg and Michael Schumacher tackle a legendary Silver Arrow. It was unique in Formula One. 2 bodywork styles on one car, with the open wheel and streamlined versions. The Streamliner was more aerodynamically efficient and specifically developed for high-speed circuits like Monza. Otherwise, the cars were almost identical. Straight-8 front-engine design, 280 horsepower, 5-speed manual transmission.
Well, it's like a go-kart, you know. You really you're high up. You see a lot, very lot of horsepower. For sure, not much grip, you know, compared to what we're used to. So you can easily slide and everything. Just great.
It's pretty much impressive to see the technical aspect, the power, the brakes that they have been able already in these days, in 1954, to provide the race drivers.
One driver from that glorious era was the young German Hans Hermann. With teammates Juan Manuel Fangio, Karl Kling and Stirling Moss, they left the competition in their wake. They were regarded as unbeatable. The Silver Arrows won 9 races from 12 starts.
Driving then was a manual craft. You had to declutch, shift gear and brake, everything by hand. That put the spotlight firmly on the driver. Of course, everything had to work well together. It had to be the right car, a decent engine, design and chassis, and a good team.
Today, a driver uses his steering wheel like a control center. It regulates the car's fuel mixture, pit radio and even extra care's hybrid system. Back then, the wheel merely served its primary purpose, steering. 42.5 centimeters in diameter, a wooden rim which was 2.4 centimeters thick. In 2011, the drivers lie prone in the cockpit and achieve top speeds of 350 kilometers an hour. But that's only 70 kilometers an hour more than in 1955, sitting upright with an extra large steering wheel.
Sitting on a cushion, you know, no seat belts, steering wheel, huge steering wheel right here, which is just, and it's very light. And then Also, the pedals. You have the gearbox right between your legs. So you have one pedal all the way on the right, the other pedal all the way on the left. So you're sitting there like this with your legs. And here's the throttle and brake, and there's the clutch. And that's so awkward. But then when you're driving, you get used to it very quickly.
Over 3/4 of a century have passed between then and now. In this time, one thing never changed: the spirit of the Silver Arrow. It makes this car what it is, a motor racing legend. Well, that's it for another episode of Enginuity. Bye for now.